How to tell if you have bad orifice tube. Before we get into this topic properly, how do you intend to inform others that this content was helpful or solved your problem, without giving this video a thumbs up, or commenting after watching? I am tired of constantly reminding you to subscribe until you finish watching this content. You will not hear of or see any such signs in this content. What is orifice tube? Orifice tube is a metering device that is designed to restructure or atomize the refrigerant flow into the evaporator of your car AC system. Precision engineering makes it a magnificent piece of component that enables certain flow of liquid refrigerant into the evaporator core. This device works just almost the same way with expansion valve. However, the thermostatic expansion valve have a sensing bulb and a plunger that allows it to fully open or close in regards to the present temperature of the refrigerant and state. In this content, I will explain what symptoms you should look out for if you think your orifice tube may be failing and how often they need replacing. Compressor overheating and premature failure. If you suddenly notice that your car AC compressor is failing more frequently at alarming rate, you may be dealing with a defective orifice tube that is messing up your car AC compressor. This often starts with starvation of the system of the right refrigerant quality it needs to function optimally. This means that a high pressure build-up across your compressor and condenser coil causes an increase in temperature rise. This acts as a resistance acting against the compressor capacity, forcing your AC compressor to work 3 times harder in attempt to overcome the resistance build up in the system due to high restriction of the refrigerant flow in the system. This may cause damage to your compressor by reducing its lifespan and increasing maintenance cost. O-rings burn out. Most O-ring seals are made of silicone material that enables them to withstand temperature that would normally wear out any rubber material that isn't made of silicone material. In that regard, most O-ring seals may last the lifetime of the compressor in the system or the AC system. If you suddenly notice that the O-ring seals you installed in your car AC system circuitry suddenly shrinked, this can be stemming from a plugged orifice tube that doesn't allow proper refrigerant flow into the evaporator core. A thorough investigation of this problem is needed to be carried out, as this can create a system premature failure. Once found, replacement of this part will fix the problem. Intermittent cold air from vents. The moment you start noticing that your car AC blow warm then cold, there are lots of factors that can trigger that attitude that grabs your attention instantly. Understanding which of the AC system components that is creating this mess can oftentimes become a mission that may be tough to accomplish. You may have noticed that your air conditioning isn't as cool as it used to be, but you need help pinpointing the problem. When this happens, it's important to avoid jumping straight into replacing parts or assuming a new system is needed. The symptoms of an intermittent loss of air conditioning can be very similar to that of damaged or discharged refrigerant from a leak. It's important to get a thorough diagnosis before replacing parts to know exactly what needs fixing and how much it will cost. Car AC blows colder on one side of the vents. If you notice that your car AC is blowing colder on passenger's side of the vent, there are other factors that can cause this symptoms. However, a partially restricted orifice tube can create this issue. Before replacement of this part, be sure you double check and ensure the system have adequate refrigerant in the system as specified under the hood of your car refrigerant sticker. Test run the system again after adding the right refrigerant and recommended quantity. If this problem persists, you are likely dealing with bad orifice tube. A loud hiss coming from inside the AC system. There are 2 types of hissing sounds that you may hear: a slow, steady hiss and a loud hiss. The size of the leak largely determines the difference between these. If you have a slow leak, which is probably due to some obstruction in your AC system, It might not generate enough sound to be audible without using some sort of listening device like a stethoscope or other similar instrument. If your AC system has been compromised by an object that fell into it during travel or construction work nearby, e.g., loose screws, then this type of leak is probably because these types of obstructions can be hard to find on their own, so they need time before they cause any damage. On the other hand, if there's a blockage somewhere in your system but nothing serious enough for its presence to cause immediate harm or discomfort, like when someone accidentally left open all those windows while driving through summertime traffic with everyone else closed up tight, then chances are good that instead those still present but not as severe as before may make more noise than usual until either fixed properly or removed completely, at which point everything should go back down again, and hopefully stay there. You notice bubbles within the sight glass. If you see bubbles in the sight glass of your system, it's a sign that there's not enough refrigerant in the system. This can happen for many reasons, but if you have an orifice tube leak, it will cause bubbles to appear within the sight glass. Higher than normal head pressure reading and lower than normal low pressure reading. These two systems are often present in the system simultaneously. If you discovered while troubleshooting your car AC that the head pressure reading is higher than normal and low pressure lower than normal, this is an indicative of a bad orifice tube that needs replacement. This simply means the orifice tube is experiencing a partial restriction. Liquid line is cold to touch. In a healthy AC system circuitry, the last thing that you want to expect is a colder to touch liquid line, 7-inch away from the orifice tube position. The liquid line is designed to transport hot high-pressure liquid refrigerant from the condenser to the orifice tube, which will then cause the pressure to drop into a low-pressure liquid refrigerant. In ideal situations or circumstances, the liquid line should be warm to touch at all times of the operation of the AC system. A colder to touch liquid line is a sign that the orifice tube may be defective, and this often accompanied with poor system cooling performance that leaves the driver sweating and rolling down his window glass. This defective orifice tube have issues of feeding the evaporator the right liquid refrigerant that is needed for the system optimal performance, causing a higher pressure drop before the entrance of the orifice tube. Compressor runs constantly. Car AC compressor that have disengaging and engine clutch when energized. This compressor is not designed to run continuously, except the operating parameters are altered. This disengagement and engagement is called short cycling. Short cycling of the compressor is a fail-safe feature that is designed to promote healthy compressor and durability. However, if the system operation isn't altered, the AC compressor shut engage and disengage based on the command from the ACECM command. However, if the compressor runs continuously, this is a clear signs of bad orifice tube. Gas line feels warm to touch. The design of the AC system is fascinating. If you have ever wondered how the AC compressor cools off, then this section here addresses that question. In a good working order AC system, the gas line shouldn't be warm to touch matter what. When the gas line is warm or hot to touch, that's a sign that the compressor is not getting a cold refrigerant that will keep it cooler while it's working. This is often caused by bad orifice tube or too much air in the system. If the orifice tube isn't replaced on time, this often fast pedal the process of compressor premature failure in short period of time. System blows warm air. There are several factors that can cause AC system to blow warm air, which I can teach in this very episode. When AC blows warm air, there are at least 10 major contributing factors that can prevent your car AC system from blowing cold air and choose to blow warm air. However, when you have a plugged orifice tube, This will prevent the liquid refrigerant from getting into the evaporator at the right timing. This delay will not only make your car AC to blow warm air from the vents. It will also throw a lot of system vital components out of proportion. It may not only promote premature compressor failure, but contaminate the entire system with debris that often harm other compressor that may be installed in the system if the right steps to completely eradicate the contamination out the system. Conclusion. In conclusion, if your orifice tube is defective, then you need to replace it. This will resolve any kind of issues with your air conditioning system. In case you are still worried about changing the orifice tube on your own, call an HVAC professional for help.